Hello. Why did I cut out? Okay, great. Okay, cool. There we go. Today is gonna be a chill day. It's not gonna be something too weird. I was like, yeah, I guess before I stream, like I think like the conversation point that kind of has been like going around, like, dude, the thing is, like, I was watching like some Sora AI videos and I was like, dude, like I actually like on the large scale, sometimes I actually wonder if like what specifically is going to be the purpose of having like a huge database of biometric like beyond biometrics of people. Like, that's going to be something. Like, that's what bothers me the most, is like with AI, essentially it's just like anyone can use it for anything. Like, Sora AI can be justified for everything, but it's kind of weird, essentially. And it's like that is the thing that bothers me the most, really. It's like, how do I put it in the most sensitive way possible for me to actually be like, okay, this sounds good but sounds terrible at the same time, because now every single time that there's like a huge leak of like information, that information is gonna get used into Sora AI or like any kind of AI in that level. If you got like a small server of something, it's just gonna be like, oh dude, like dude, I had no idea. But it's just a matter of fact that technology has advanced so much to the point where like everything and anything can be used in any kind of a case scenario, with like huge databases of biometric bullcrap. So yeah, like that's the thing. Like, how do, like, what is, like, it can be used for good, for bad, for anything, basically. So yeah, it's like, it kind of makes me wonder specifically, like, what is going to be the end objective after like centralizing a lot of information for it to be in a weak spot, basically. You know what I mean? It's like privacy is kind of important, but at the same time it's just like, okay, yeah, but like the thing is, like, Facebook exists, which, by the way, if you use Facebook, I don't know how to say it, is like either you use it for Facebook for family, or you're desperate, basically. It's like there's no in between, basically. It's like if you actually use Facebook for anything else, you're kind of like one of the rare ones, right? But it's like, that is the thing when it comes to like giving information to all these social media and it being fed into like an algorithm that kind of like feeds off of like any kind of information out there. So it's like, I mean, like the problem is just going to be like, how exactly is this thing gonna get used at this point? You know what I mean? It's like, how exactly is it gonna get used? How can it be used? How can Sora AI be used? It's like every single time that there's going to be like platforms that leak any kind of, how do I put it? Any kind of like personal information. It's just information that can be used by a AI model to basically do anything with that information. So yeah, that's like, I think that is like the irony of it all is like, yeah, you can build as many kind of like data sensors about anything, but it's like something can go absolutely wrong, and it's like it could be the collapse of even society if it gets like too centralized, essentially. Like it can bring collapse if it gets too centralized. So yeah, that's a problem. I was like, how do I put it in like the nicest way possible to the point where it's like anonymity is kind of like weird, because it's basically saying, okay, if nobody is anonymous, everyone is anonymous in some way. Or like, yeah, it's like if one individual cannot have privacy, well, nobody gets privacy except a few people, basically. So that's the biggest problem that I see, like in general. It's just that, like, for example, every single time that I look at all these models, like coming up with like new ideas on how to, yeah, like scrape information, it's just like no matter how hard I kind of try to be the most rational as possible, it's just the only answer that my brain gives me is like, it's gonna be used for both, basically. It's gonna be used for a lot of case scenarios. It's gonna get used so much for so many case scenarios. It's gonna be impossible to actually come up with like a proper, like a proper outcome towards something. It's just gonna be impossible, basically. And it's like, adding more information to your ID isn't necessarily going to help, actually. It's like, that's the irony of it all, basically. It's like, you can say that you have like the one ID, basically, right? Or it's like, dude, it's like, if it exists, it can be hacked, right? That is the first rule of technology. If it exists, it can be hacked, right? If it's a device that is connected towards the Internet of Things, it can be hacked. It will be hacked, in one way or the other. Encryption helps, sure, but it's like, it's just a temporary like solution until somebody actually figures it out, basically. So that's gonna be like the biggest thing ever. And it's like, now we got like randomly generated, I mean, yeah, we got like systems whose entire purpose is for data scrapers to eliminate any kind of information out of the internet, basically, right? And I was like, okay, sure. Oh, but suddenly, like, yeah, well, this administration of this service has all your information, therefore, and it got leaked. So, yeah, everybody's in trouble. Everybody's in trouble now, because even when you don't want to willingly put your information out there, now it's just like, it's just a matter of time until it just becomes food for the data scrapers that are out there trying to get as much information as possible towards a specific objective. As like that can be used for any kind of purpose, actually, any kind of individual purpose. So it's kind of like, in some cases, like sometimes I'm just like perplexed over like the kind of like solution that they're offering towards this, because it's like we've seen the use case scenario in every single instance, basically. I mean, we are kind of like witnessing the use case scenario of this tool, and it's like, yeah, that is the thing. It's like, in its own way, it's just going to create more havoc. The fact of you adding more information to the information pile. It's kind of like a defense system, even. Like, I would even go as far to say that it's a defense system in its own way. To have even your own kind of like data scraping service, basically. It was like, defense against who? Against what? Against what exactly, you know? So yeah, it's like, ultimately, like, the only solution that I see to like a lot of these things is like having the least amount of like data being out on the internet. Is like, that is the golden rule, essentially. Is like, don't give all your information on the internet, basically. That is literally the golden rule of everything. And it's like, a lot of like these services, they're like putting this kind of thing where it's just like, okay, yeah, well, you go to an online store, right? So you leave a trail of cookies whenever you actually do that. Okay, so you can be tracked with cookies by everything that you do on a given instance, right? And even then, it's like you leave a fingerprint, a device fingerprint, every single time that you visit like a specific server, like a specific DNS. Well, DNS, I think, is it a DNS server? I don't know, but basically, yeah. It's like there's a fingerprint that goes towards there, basically. So it's like, in both ways, I think that central, like, definitely the UK is being pushing it in a more extreme way to be like, for the sake of convenience. But in other places, it's just like, okay, the use case scenarios for this one in particular. And I was like, oh yeah, well, that's kind of nasty. I was like, okay, how about this one specifically? I was like, okay, it sounds nasty as well, but at the same time, I can see the use of it. But at the same time, it's kind of like not so great because it has its advantages as well. So yeah, and it's like that is like the consequence of having AI, Sora AI, being out there, because essentially, what is reality at that point? You know, it's like, what do you trust at that point? It's like, do you trust a highly secure ID that holds all of your biometrics and information in one place? I was like, not really, because it's essentially the same thing. Like, it's kind of the same thing. Because it's like, okay, if the information gets leaked, it's even worse because everything is in one place. So now the question just becomes, okay, how centralized do you want it to make it? Like, how centralized can you make it that whenever there's there's like a single problem in that system, everything collapses? I was like, that is like the biggest flaw that I see with like that design system, right? It's like again, the golden rule of thumb of information technology is, if it exists, it can be hacked. It's not a matter of how, it's about when. And with AI being more and more advanced, it will happen even faster. So in some cases, it just leads me to believe that it's like, okay, well, like AI encryption and it becomes like the golden standard, basically, right? It's like, I mean, it's kind of like the opposite of like a lot of people are saying that it's like, no, you need to remove encryption out of like any kind of message or anything. Which is like, I think it's supposed to be the opposite, where like AI gets used so encryption becomes even more difficult to crack. Like that should be ideally the state in which you want to be in, basically. I mean, it's like using information technology to actually have like some kind of like knowledge of like how the public keys and the private keys are. Is like how encryption is being used for that specifically. Like that seems to be like a more logical take rather than actually putting every information in one ID card, basically, because it's like, okay, yeah, it's the most identifiable thing out of an individual, therefore yeah, we can recognize you because you're there. And it's like Sora AI can literally do everything. If that exists, biometrics don't make sense. Like, that's the irony. How far are we from AI basically replicating any kind of biometrics? Like, just because you're offering a solution that seems kind of plausible, it's just gonna be like, well, that's not gonna work, right? I was like, what is next? Like blood samples being inserted into a machine so it recognizes that it's you? It's like, that's not gonna happen. And even then it's just gonna be like, okay, yeah, sure. And it's like, it just, we're pushing even further into this kind of like biometric kind of system. And it's just like, the issue is not necessarily, like, the issue is how the information is being based, really. Is like, that is the biggest problem. Like, that is the logistics of things, is how do you split the boxes well enough so there's enough information security towards the user. It's not so much put it all inside of one box and hope it works for the best. It's like, okay, yeah, well, put it in one box and it just becomes a farm of information. Put it in small boxes and it becomes more secure and more isolated, and you get more close-ended like server. Well, I mean, you get more closed network servers that actually manage the information, rather than actually having one massive box that connects through everything. So it's like, it's kind of contradicting for me to like, for the sake of information and security of information, to say, oh, centralize everything on one ID card. It will be efficient. It's like, even within the principle of information security, that's really stupid, actually. You know what I mean? It's like, if the argument is security, it's like, that's not security at all. You know what I mean? It's like, that is specifically not security. That is literally the complete opposite of it. It's like, would you rather have 10 doors with a lock in each one of them, or would you rather have one big door with a huge lock that is like very difficult to break with a hammer? It's like, I think there will be a hammer big enough for somebody to break through the lock. It's just a matter of time. I was like, okay, yeah, well, 10 smaller locks, well, it's not amazing, right? It's like, but yeah, it's like, the thing is, if you add multiple boxes in which people have to go through, you have more places where the digital fingerprint can be put. I was like, the more boxes that you have, the better security will be. So if that is the argument, is like placing more biometrics or information or like bank requirements of everything in one box, it basically asks for a breaking of security. It literally the only purpose of having everything in one box, in one sandbox, is for it to be a data farm. Like literally that's the only use case scenario that I actually see it being used, for it to be centralized, right? It's like it is literally the only purpose. It is the wet dream of a sadist, basically, you know? It's like it's literally the wet dream of an individual that really wants to have everything. There's like a lot of people who say like, dude, it's like I'm rich, so I really need to use my money somewhere. How about having like a farmville that is like of actual people? And it's like, yeah, that sounds fun. Maybe that will satisfy my sad fucking life in some way. And it's like, I think when it comes to that, it's just more of a matter of like mental health fix, like of a solving of mental health for wealthy individuals that were promised the world by them being studious enough to go through a specific field, and only getting disappointed that the fact is that the reality that has been constructed for them does not necessarily favor what they really wanted, which was authenticity to begin with. And it's like I think that is like a bigger I think that is the biggest breaking point for like a lot of like problems for like the human psychology of like how the human machine works. Is like essentially like wealthiness is not fixing the mental health of individuals, and is like having more like a sandbox where they can play with everything, just it just escalates the mental condition in these these individuals are, and it just makes them even it kind of like pushes them towards this mentality that they can do whatever the hell they want. And it's like, again, it's like it's not gonna satisfy them, because at the end of the day, what they're trying to satisfy is that type of sense of authenticity, basically. And it's like, yeah, like that is the biggest problem that we see with like a lot of things, basically. And it's like, yeah, that is like the biggest problem that I see with people in general, right? It's like the answer to everything nowadays is like, I'm too rich, so I'm gonna buy anything, any kind of data I'm gonna know. Like, I'm gonna know everything about everyone, and it's going to be great. I'm gonna have enough data for me to simulate realities, so I can feel the satisfaction that I'm having like the most lucid reality, rather than actually having other people who are living through fake realities, because AI is just going to be the point of like luxury, and it's gonna be like, well, I have the luxury of having reality within my grasp, and I can twist it to whatever I want. And it's like, in some cases, it's just like the megalomaniac aspect of the mind that actually pushes towards that, basically, you know? It's like the megalomaniac is the one that is, we can argue that it is the one that is sick in particular, because it's a state of the mind that constantly seeks for any kind of like release from the stress of having invested their time and effort towards a topic that they don't necessarily like all the time. And it's just like, it just pushes them into misery, because even although that it satisfies their prime necessities, it doesn't necessarily satisfy their mental development towards a more pleasing and satisfying life. So that is like the biggest problem that I see with like a lot of these like takes from a lot of people from any kind of any kind of perspective, like that just becomes the issue. The issue becomes, how do we stop the megalomaniac mind from pushing further into a desire of unending hunger and unending like steps towards power, rather than actually justifying sandboxes that enable individuals to even be more hungry. So that is the thing specifically, like that is like the biggest problem that I see with all these biometrics kind of things. You know, it's like it's not safe. I mean, by principle of information technology, it is not safe. It's contradicting, right? It's not something that a lot of people want to encourage. It gives the more identities to individuals, basically. It gives more data scraping for people to actually handle it and do any kind of data package that it can push through. And it undermines the privacy of an individual into like this kind of like state of mental paranoia where everything is on crisis all the time, basically. So in its own case, it's like, well, that is the biggest problem, isn't it? It's like the solution seems to be to potentially mind break people because you want security for the individuals that believe that they are the ones entitled to the mass sandbox of information. And it's like, yeah, that's like the biggest problem that I see basically when it comes to like human behavior. Basically, it's just human behavior goes through so many stages basically, and it's like the sandbox of the mind essentially desires what, like, it has an unending desire, basically. It has an unending hunger. It's like, yeah, whenever you actually eat something, you need to eat something later, basically. It's like, okay, you eat chicken today, tomorrow you're gonna want to eat something else. And it's like, a lot of people will say, well, that's normal. Okay, sure. Since that's normal, I'm gonna eat beef tomorrow. Right? Okay, what about sushi tomorrow? Okay, yeah, let's eat sushi. Okay, I've eaten every single food that is out there and I'm not satisfied. I'm just gonna make something up. Okay, what if I just keep making shit up? Okay, just keep making shit up so it satisfies me. It's like, oh, well, yeah, but my hunger is not gone. My hunger is never gone. Even though you want to switch it up, the hunger does not disappear, right? It's like food is not the ultimate solution. It's a solution. It's a temporary solution. It's not an end solution, basically. And it's like, it's the same thing when it comes to like sexuality, when it comes to thirst, when it comes to social engagement, when it comes to games, when it comes to movies, when it comes to like media, any kind of media. It just becomes this kind of unending hunger towards the most identifiable sense of authenticity of something, really. And it's like, that is the biggest problem that I see. And it's like a lot of like the people who are rich, basically, like yeah, you can totally see that, like the emotional tones whenever they say something that is like, yeah, well, a lot of people are gonna be able to travel through VR. Like, yeah, I mean, we're gonna give people the chance for them to experience a specific lifestyle. So yeah, and it's like everything is gonna be done through technology because technology is the ultimate solution to everything. I was like, yeah, by the way, thank you for buying into VR. I'm going to Italy where I'm actually going to enjoy everything authentic about it. I was like, that is the thing specifically about like the psychology of like the wealthy person that is always looking for an excuse to feel superior over another individual, basically. It's like not necessarily. It's like the data package that they consume just becomes, well, yeah. I mean, because I'm rich, I can have the most authentic experience out of something. Great. Why am I not satisfied? I was like, was it authentic enough for you? Because it didn't seem to satisfy you. Or was it not authentic and you only bought into the idea that it was authentic when it wasn't? I was like, yeah, well, I don't know. Actually, it's one quest. And I have satisfied that one quest, and tomorrow I'll be hungry about something else. But I have the luxury and the prestige for me to actually get to that place, basically, you know? But it's like, okay, yeah, sure, cool. But it's like your hunger is never going to be satisfied because you're always going to look for something that is like more authentic. It's like, yeah, basically, I'm just going to think, I'm just going to keep seeking towards authenticity until I get the authentic experience that I want. And that is the biggest problem, I think, when it comes to, I feel like that is the biggest mental problem that there is with a lot of these people who have delved themselves into a particular field. It just becomes like the excuse, basically, for them to justify their reality, basically. It's like, you're in too deep about a particular mindset. Therefore, either you keep going and abusing it, or you just self-destroy yourself. And it's like, yeah, well, I don't want to self-destroy myself, so I'm gonna keep trying, basically, you know? But again, it's like, I think, like, the irony of it all is like, the wealthy person does not have, for some reason, the modern wealthy person does not have the luxury of reflecting about what they're going through. It really, like, it seems to me that the modern wealthy person is always seeking for another kind of like purpose in its own way, and it doesn't necessarily reflect about the experience that they've had, but they keep going towards hunger, basically, as like that feeds into more misery than anything, basically, because it's like, yeah, well, I can satisfy myself with anything that I want, but if you don't even enjoy anything that you've consumed, if you don't actually try to analyze it, if you don't actually try to think about what you just saw over what you just experienced, was it a bad experience? Was it a good experience? Why was it a bad experience? Was it great because you had someone that challenged you, or was it because was it different? Was it great because it was different? I was like, that is one of those things that a lot of individuals need to go through, rather than actually being the unending train of consumerism that actually never satisfies them. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that is the thing why, like, personally speaking, I'm kind of sad that a lot of like online fandoms have faded away, because in its own like regard, sometimes I actually think that fandoms in their own way are a way of humanly reflect and savor the the enjoyment that you actually went through, basically. And it's like the collapse of Reddit is like a bad sign in its own way. I mean, a lot of people say like, dude, Reddit was awful, Reddit was this, Reddit was that, but the biggest problem that I see is that there was something good about Reddit, basically. And it's like, most of the time when it comes to like Reddit now, is like, yeah, like people are no longer going there to like enjoy the content anymore. It's just like, okay, what are we going for to be mad about? Like, what exactly am I looking for to be mad about? What am I thinking about being mad about? It's no longer about appreciating the art or the craft of somebody that has done and putting more into it. It's more like, yeah, well, how do I look? Can I look better than the other individual? How can I look better? Like, how can I make myself stand out rather than other individuals that are kind of like looking for any kind of sense of meaning throughout and taste through the things that they've actually enjoyed, basically. And it's like, yeah, I mean, in some cases, like, I have a firm belief that we've gone through those levels where we no longer enjoy the things that we enjoy, and it's no longer something that we enjoy anymore. Like, we're always looking for the make yourself look better than the other individual. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that kind of has become the meta at this particular time. It's not so much people appreciating fandoms anymore. It's just, let's destroy this fandom because they were mean to us, and let's just punish them for this particular given thing, basically, because they've attempted to take advantage of our kindness and so on. And it's like, I think that is like the biggest problem, basically. So yeah, that is the biggest problem I see with a lot of, like, nowadays the internet is kind of like a creatively bankrupt economy, because it just no longer kind of like wants to enjoy things. It just wants to belong and feel on top of the other individual. Like, at that point, it's like creatively bankrupt. It's everything bankrupt, basically, you know what I mean? So that is the biggest problem that I see with a lot of, like, media in particular. And it's like, yeah, I mean, either that or kind of abuse a kind of system that actually gets you ahead, which is, I mean, I'll give you like an example, like Pokemon card scalpers. I mean, they wanted to get ahead, basically, right? Like, Pokemon scalpers wanted to get ahead of the economic game by taking advantage of something that is not necessarily like that they're interested in, but rather abusing the necessity for some people for them to actually feel like they're enjoying a hobby about something in particular. And it's like that is like the biggest problem that I see as well, that is just economically we are so kind of like in the shithole, basically, that any kind of like mentality towards like wealth becomes like the biggest mindset for a lot of these people. And it just becomes like, okay, well, you no longer enjoy this. You know, you're not here for enjoying it anymore. You're here to get ahead in life, basically. So it's like, I mean, it is from the default of an existential breakthrough of seeing yourself as of self-worth in the individual landscape, basically. It's like, how do you actually like see yourself have any kind of like safe mentality? How do you actually see yourself into an actual like stable mentality if the name of the game suddenly becomes you constantly just being into a state of combat 24/7? So yeah, like that is the biggest problem that I see with society, like modern society, is just it wants to have combat for the sake of combat, for it to actually make a name for themselves, no matter the cost, basically. And it's like, in some cases, it just backfires tremendously. It just immensely backfires, basically. But yeah, it's like, I mean, to kind of to finish up my rant, basically, is just in a lot of like use cases, most of the time, it's just the argument of for safety is just not there. Like, it's just essentially like, okay, well, would you know what's the safest thing for everyone to do? Put everyone in the front line, except me, that I'm managing every single point of the database. Because basically, I'm the manager of the database. Therefore, I'm the one that is supposed to take care of all this information, and I'm the one who is supposed to be on the throne, basically. So yeah, but as a consequence, I'm gonna put everyone on the front lines because of it. So to me, it's just kind of weird to basically just have this kind of like inner discussion about things, and it's the only outcome that I see that comes out of like all these kind of like reflections about it is just that the human mind just seeks for chaos to be the solution to their pain, basically. Like the human brain seems to look for the fire of chaos and destruction to say that it will be for the better, and I will be a historical figure because I left my footprint on the sand because I did something. And it's like, if that is the case, I think like most of the time is just either that or like an endless satisfaction of hunger, basically. So, but is it like, are both states of the mind chaotic by nature? And it's like, well, yeah, like they don't necessarily help the individual for you to create chaos on purpose, and it doesn't necessarily help the individual to actually be nihilistic and saying, well, I need to eat every single stage of the day, basically. So yeah, like that is the thing specifically. And it's like these problems, a lot of the times, these problems that kind of like arise, they're not necessarily like forced upon people, basically. Well, they're not, the intent is not there for it to be chaotic, it just happens sometimes. So yeah, that's the thing, basically. It's like, it's like a large landscape of like how much a situation can go towards, basically. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. As like for me in particular, like the only thing that I kind of like want to have as a system is essentially have like a better system that allows people to actually have a sense of self-reflection rather than actually pushing for hunger for satisfaction, basically. And it's like, yeah, I say that because like I'm a little bit aware of my own hunger sometimes. Well, that is the thing, is like sometimes I become aware of my own hunger. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's a thing. That's a thing that is there. What do you do? Well, enjoy your hunger, but like that's what I kind of sometimes do. It's just that I sometimes just go out of my way to be like, yeah, well, I kind of enjoy the hunger. Like I like in my most basic of ways, like I kind of like just enjoy essentially just being like, well, I actually, you know what I enjoy? I enjoy the female body. That's something that I enjoy. It's like, it's nice to look at. It's like, I mean, yeah, in some shapes and sizes and everything. It's like, yeah, that's something enjoyable. I was like, does that make you happy sometimes? And it's like, the answer is like, yeah, sometimes. And I was like, okay, are you satisfied now? Do you not want anymore? I was like, no, I want more, actually. I was like, oh, okay. Then maybe start enjoying a little bit more of what you have rather than seeking for everything. I was like, yeah, maybe that's a solution, basically. And it's like, okay, but okay, how do you enjoy it? How do you enjoy that? I was like, well, you kind of enjoy it through what you actually genuinely feel, basically. I was like, okay, what do you enjoy? And it's like, well, the human emotion, basically, that you get out of every single individual that you actually like, basically. I was like, yeah, that is the delicious part of like another person, basically. That is like the syrup that actually makes you want even more out of like this particular situation, that particular individual, out of everything. Like that kind of like reflection of like of the deliciousness of the personality that a person can have, or like the condition that they're in, basically. I was like, yeah, I mean, sometimes like I will admit that it's like, am I superficial? And it's like, partially. But do I care about the human emotion as well? Well, yeah, as well. It is part of it. It's like, that's a human experience. It's like the package of another individual that you're watching is the package that you're eating, basically. It's the data package that you're kind of enjoying at the moment. So it's like, okay, well, what is the data package that you enjoy the most? And it's like, I don't know, like VTuber women seems to be like kind of like a good package to have, because it just adds some flavor to it. I don't know, it's just like, I mean, I don't want to say girl failure, but at the same time a little bit, but it's just kind of like, but not really. So it's like, I mean, the data package is the one that sell it to you the most, basically. I was like, I mean, yeah, I kind of enjoy that, basically, yeah. But why do you enjoy it? And it's like, I don't know, something about, there's something about 2D bullshit that makes it more enjoyable. I was like, okay, why? No, I just enjoy it. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I was like, yeah. I mean, I don't know how to put it like that. So, so yeah, like for me in particular, it's just kind of like that, where it's just like, I mean, do you enjoy it? Do you don't? What do you enjoy? Do you enjoy idols? Do you actually enjoy Japanese idols that are dancing around? It's like, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. Do you enjoy that? Yeah, sure. It's part of my hunger. Sure. Do you feel like and you must constantly eat that kind of content? I was like, sometimes, yeah, sometimes. Do you think that is terrible, that it's the only thing that you consume? Sometimes. But it's like the irony of it all is that it's not like I kind of try to look of authenticity elsewhere, and the only answer that I get is just unauthentic logical arguments in order for you to get more power over society. And it's like most of the time that kind of feels like it, even although that in the YouTube space that happens a lot. It's like, at least in this kind of area, it's like, okay, people try to be a little bit more authentic, at least. Because it's like, okay, you enjoy a particular fandom, you actually talk about it, okay, that's authentic. That's really authentic. I can really get behind that. And because of it, it's like, okay, yeah, well, you're the kind of cringe person that really, really enjoys having white wings and like having like white feathers and having like a white outfit because you're the whitest bullshit, well, the purest angel that there is. It's like, okay, a little bit cringe, but it's authentic. I was like, I mean, yeah, kind of. So it was like, I mean, like specifically, it just becomes that kind of thing where, like, through art, through a particular taste, you find authenticity. Because you see women that are constantly wanting to have a particular style of a particular vibe. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's not bad. Is it acting in some cases? Well, absolutely, yeah. It is something. It is part of acting. But whenever you see the cranks through the mask, that's when the most enjoyable part of like it's kind of like the theatricals of things. It's like you see the cracks on the mask through a situation that actually pushes them through the actual authenticity of their own person. It's like, okay, that is the most enjoyable part of an individual. It's no longer about acting, it's more about seeing what the real person kind of feels towards something. It's like when you actually feel that, when you actually see and feel that crack, is when you actually enjoy it the most. And it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, that is the most enjoyable part out of like a stream. That is the most enjoyable part that you get out of it, essentially. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, partially, it literally is that, the enjoyment that one can get out of like the experience out of something, basically. So yeah, I mean, basically. Okay, so let's continue with Legacy of Kain. Okay, let me do some adjustments real quick. Before I begin, actually, before I begin, let me go take a piss. Actually, I went through a rant. through like like kind of a rant, basically. But yeah. Okay, we're back. Okay, cool. I got myself a water bottle. We got some bullcrap. Dude, okay, cool. Okay. Soul Reaver 2. Game options. Okay, cool.
At last. I must say I'm disappointed in your progress. I imagined you'd be here sooner. Tell me, did it trouble you to murder your brothers?
Did it trouble you when you ordered me into the abyss?
Eternity is relentless, Raziel. When I first stole into this chamber centuries ago, I did not fathom the true power of knowledge. To know the future, Raziel. To see its paths and streams tracing out into the infinite. As a man, I could never contain such forbidden truths. But each of us is so much more than we once were. Do you not feel with all your soul how we have become like gods? As such, are we not indivisible? As long as a single one of us stands, we are legion. Our futures are predestined. Mobius foretold mine eons ago. We each play out the parts fate has written for us. Free will is an illusion.
I found the tomb of Sarafan, Kain. How could you profane a priest by turning him into a vampire?
How could I not? One must keep his friends close, Raziel, and his enemies even closer. Who better to serve me than those whose passion transcends all notions of good and evil?
The Sarafan were saviors, defending Nazgul from the corruption that we represent. My eyes are open, Kain. I find no nobility in the unlife you rudely forced on my unwilling corpse.
You may have uncovered your past, but you know nothing of it. You think the Sarafan were noble, altruistic? Oh, don't be simple. Their agenda was the same as ours. You nearly had me, Raziel. But this is not where or how it ends. Fate promises more twists before this drama unfolds completely.
Raziel, Redeemer and Destroyer, Pawn and Messiah. Welcome, time-span soul. Welcome to your destiny.
This has to be one of the best openings of all time. Literally. I cannot stress how much how impactful that
Where am I?
that
It's
is.
the usual question. In your case, when might be more apt?
Very well, you old snake. If you'd prefer I use my bare hands.
Well, this is completely unexpected. This orb disables our vampire enemies, leaving them helpless and incapacitated. Strangely, it seems to have the same effect on that peculiar weapon of yours. But you must believe me. I mean you no harm.
You can drop the benevolent facade, Mobius. I know who and what you are. I should kill you where you stand.
Perhaps you should, my boy. But you don't.
Are you so certain of that, Mobius?
My role as Time Guardian affords me a certain level of omniscience, Raziel. No, you don't kill me. That honor belongs to your maker, Kain, Some 30 years from now.
You two are a pair. You're just as fatalistic as he is.
Death comes for us all, Raziel. It's just a matter of time.
How is it that you know my name? We have never met.
On the contrary, Raziel, I know you very well. And it grieves me to see how cruelly Kain has used you. I knew you when you were one of the Sarafan Brotherhood, Raziel. We were even close.
Oh, please.
Fortunately, you need not love me now to be my ally.
Are we within the stronghold of the Sarafan priesthood?
Yes, but the glorious days of the Sarafan have long since passed, I'm afraid. This is a more cynical and indecorous age. My mercenary army now inhabits this stronghold. We strive to honor the memory of the Sarafan with our own humble crusade.
Is this the vampire Vorador?
Yes, the scourge of the Circle, the most depraved and decadent example of his whole degenerate race. He slaughtered 6 of my fellow Guardians as they cowered defenseless in this room.
And you somehow survived this massacre?
I and 2 others. The Circle was devastated. Only we 3 were spared.
How convenient. You'll forgive me if I don't naively devour every scrap of information you toss me. You have a reputation for deceit.
And who has slandered me, sir? Your malefactor, Kain? The one who betrayed and destroyed you? Our common enemy? Consider the source before you judge me too harshly. We'll forget about rekindling our old friendship then. But consider an alliance based on our common ground. We both want Kain dead. I can help you do it.
You don't want to meddle in this, old man. I know all about your sordid little schemes, but you're simply out of your depth on this one.
You underestimate me, Raziel. Let me show you. Even now, Kain is lying in wait for you, unaware that I've snatched you out of the time stream and brought you here to me. See how he lingers at the very pillars he is destined to destroy, foolishly confident that he has eluded your grasp.
The pillars are still standing in this time.
Yes, Raziel. They are the embodiment of the divine force which preserves the life of our world. We who serve the pillars maintain their delicate balance, and Kain is destined to be the fulcrum upon which that balance turns. I believe you have already endured the wasteland wrought by his terrible, selfish decision. Kain's very existence is a cancer upon this world. As long as he lives, all of Nosgoth is in peril. You may never again be human, Raziel. But you can re-embrace the essence of your humanity and the nobility of your Sarafan heritage. Go to him, Raziel, and end this. But first, you will need to find your way out of the stronghold, and in this, I'm afraid I cannot help you. My soldiers will not understand your appearance here. They will try to kill you. You needn't fear them, of course. They're no match for you. Try to keep the casualties to a minimum. But do what you have to do. All great movements require a few martyrs.
Alone now, I surveyed my surroundings and noticed a second time-streaming chamber. Its entrance identical to the first, but with one distinction. That crystal was significant, but how, I had not yet discovered. Throughout the stronghold, I discovered evidence of my former nobility and my life as a Sarafan priest. This was the heritage so foully stolen from me when Kain raided my sacred crypt and defiled me. Away from the influence of Mobius's cursed staff, I could feel the strength of the Soul Reaver slowly returning. If that orb was as debilitating to vampires as it was to the blade, it gave Mobius a powerful advantage over his enemies. I finally understood how Mobius's crusade could decimate the vampires so successfully. If he could immobilize his enemies, they were at his mercy. But why, I wondered, would the staff have any effect on the Reaver? of vertigo as reality itself appeared to warp and bend around me. The disturbance seemed to emanate from the sanctuary's furthest chapel. As I cautiously approached, the sense of dislocation intensified with each step. So this was the tomb of the beloved King William the Just, beatified here as the martyr and catalyst of Mobius's crusade. I was reminded of Kain's journey as a fledgling vampire, how Mobius coerced him to travel back in history and assassinate William, thus igniting a genocidal hatred of vampires among the citizens of Nosgoth. And here I discovered the source of the displacement. The Soul Reaver itself, laid out like a holy relic, and broken, apparently in the battle between William and Kain. I had not thought such a thing was possible, until, of course, Kain shattered the blade against me when he tried to strike me down. Thus, the captive spirit inhabiting the Reaver was released, and binding itself to me became my symbiotic weapon. And so the Reaver met its former self, still imprisoned in this corporeal shell. I watched, mesmerized, as the Wraith blade uncoiled itself and snaked down the length of the physical blade. Embracing its twin, its mirror self, the Reaver's long dormant spirit was now fully aroused. And for the first time, I felt the true presence of this other entity, willful, ravenous, and deranged from thousands of years of imprisonment. The Reaver was now in command, and I, now merely its helpless host, felt my soul being leached to restore the blade. But the Reaver knew better than to destroy its host, and just as I neared the brink of oblivion, the blade released its hold on me. As I recovered, I realized we were now bound together in a fragile alliance. The Reaver no longer merely my symbiotic weapon, but a sentient parasite competing for control.
What have you done to me, Mobius? Is this your trap?
How mine? Don't forget it was Kain who led you here, not I. While you curse me, the only soul in Nosgoth ready to guide and assist you, Kain laughs at our folly and revels in your dismay.
These blades, now coiled in sinister embrace, have inspired terror in the hearts of creatures far more durable than you, old man. Bound together as they are, I can only imagine what they could do to your soul's fragile shell.
Raziel, I beg you to stay your hand. This was none of my doing. I have sought only to aid you in your righteous quest.
Why, you're trembling, Mobius. Has your confidence abandoned you? You seem to have made a fatal error by leaving your precious staff behind. Is that where all your courage comes from?
Listen to me, Raziel. You don't know what you're doing. I have taken an enormous risk by appearing here before you, so defenseless, yet eager to prove my good intentions. If there's anything left of the Seraphim in you, you won't do this. While you threaten me, your true enemy eludes you.
Don't concern yourself with Kain, old man. He'll join you in hell soon enough. As you said, death comes for us all.
Yes, the wheel of fate demands it.
What did you say?
The wheel of fate, the inexorable cycle of death and rebirth to which all men are compelled. We serve the same God, Raziel. To strike me down would be striking God's own attendant. And I don't believe even you would take that risk.
I tire of your games, Mobius. Now that I know you fear me, I needn't concern myself with you. Kain is waiting for me.
Go then, Raziel. Seek Kain out and destroy him in the name of the one God we both serve. You, who were once a Seraphim priest, murdered, profaned, destroyed, and reborn again from his mercy. You are now most powerfully equipped to be his agent, his instrument of restoration and retribution.
My own vengeance is motivation enough.
By my soul, you almost had me, my little blue assassin. But that'll be the one and only chance you get. I assure you of that.
I could now summon the blade at will, regardless of my strength. But once summoned, the blade's ravenous appetite could not be contained. It devoured the souls of its victims, and if I allowed it to become over-aroused, the Reaver would now turn its hunger on me. So this was the legendary Janos Ordrin, reputed to have been the most ancient and diabolical vampire to have ever existed. According to folklore, he lived high in the cliffs of Nosgoth's northern mountains and preyed mercilessly on the defenseless villagers below. His reign of terror ended when the Sarafan finally hunted him down and tore his throbbing heart from his still-living body. This relic came to be known as the Heart of Darkness, and was supposedly imbued with the power to restore vampiric unlife. The Sarafan therefore guarded it carefully, lest the heart fall into the hands of their enemies. But I wondered, could Janos Ordrin truly have been as monstrous as depicted here? Or was this merely artistic license by the Sarafan, who sought to lionize themselves by demonizing their darkest enemy? strange how my history came full circle. This chapel, I realized, was a memorial to my former Sarafan brethren and myself. All of us martyred here. And then so cruelly profaned by Kain when he imposed his gift on our noble corpses. For the first time, I beheld the image of my Sarafan self, memorialized here among my fallen comrades. It tortured me to see how noble and pure I had been, and what a vile phantasm I had become. And a profound sense of injury, of loss and betrayal welled up in me, so overwhelming I could barely contain it. All I wanted at this moment was to find Kain and destroy him. First time beheld Nosgoth in its former glory. The land overflowed with abundant life and vitality. And I knew with certainty then that the world I had left behind was nothing more than the corpse of Nosgoth, a lifeless husk bled dry by the corruption of Kain's parasitic empire. This was the fragile world Kain sacrificed to preserve his own petty life and ambition, heedless of the profound cost. The sight only deepened my resolve. I sensed that the pillars lay to the northwest. If Kain truly waited to confront me there, I would not disappoint him. As I passed this arcane landmark, a wisp of the Reaver's energy was drawn into the ring, illuminating it. This created a beacon of sorts in the spirit world. If ever I found myself depleted in the spectral realm, and my soul tossed on the ethereal winds, these beacons would draw me back to safety and restore me. I did not yet possess the means to unlock this barrier, but this enigmatic symbol was clearly the key. These ancient obelisks were mysteriously attuned to my spiritual essence. By simply touching the symbol, I could safely preserve an imprint of my soul, and thus create a milestone to which I could return when weary, and from which I could resume my journey. While I had only just escaped the stronghold, I sensed that in time my journey would return me full circle to this place. Infiltrating the fortress, however, would be no small feat. The balcony that had provided my escape was now well beyond my reach, leaving this massive gateway as the only means of entry. The gates were sealed, but like the time-streaming chamber I had seen earlier, their operation was undoubtedly linked to that odd crystal mounted above the entrance. nothing in common with the deranged jackals I left behind in Kain's derelict empire. They seem to retain much of their former humanity. In this era, vampires were clearly not the uncontested predators we had been. These creatures were hunted mercilessly and oppressed. And while I still believed that vampirism was a plague and had to be wiped out, there was nothing noble or righteous in this crusade. This was simply ruthless persecution.
Get it!
The pillars of Nosgoth, pristine, whole, and uncorrupted. I had never beheld them in this undefiled state, yet something profound and indelible resonated within me at the sight. And there, waiting at the very heart of the pillars, was the canker that was destined to destroy them.
I know you're there, Raziel.
Mobius led me to you, Kain, though I might have guessed you'd meet me here.
And if Mobius told you I was hidden on the underside of hell, would you throw yourself into oblivion to pursue me? Mobius trawls for the ignorant and unwary, hauling his gasping prey from the streams of their destinies. Stay out of his net, Raziel.
Spare me your elaborate metaphors, Kain. I have pursued you here for one purpose. You will pay for your betrayal, and balance will thus be restored to Nosgoth.
And whose will is satisfied then? The will of Raziel or Mobius?
Would I be better manipulated by you, Kain? Now, turn and face me. The chase is over.
This isn't a chase, Raziel. We are merely passengers on the wheel of destiny, describing a perfect circle to this point. We've been brought here for a reason. I've seen the beginning and the end of our story, however, and the tale is crude and ill-conceived. We must rewrite the ending of it. You and I.
Face me, Kain. Even you shouldn't die a coward's death.
Isn't it customary to grant the condemned a final request?
I recall no such courtesy from you.
Indulge me, Raziel. All I ask is that you listen. This is the sublime moment of our undoing, Raziel. The ineffable fulcrum upon which swings the entirety of our history. This is where all of Nosgoth is betrayed. In this instant, Ariel, the Balance Guardian, is murdered by dark forces bent on overthrowing the pillars. Her spirit is just now tearing free, lost in the ether, trying to find its way here. You have already seen how she comes to haunt these pillars.
Bound here by your refusal to die. You are the reason this land becomes diseased. As long as you remain alive, you condemn Nosgoth to an eternity of decay.
Be still, Raziel. See this. As Ariel dies, I am being born to take her place as Balance Guardian. Such is my destiny.
My God.
At the moment of my first cry, Ariel's beloved, the Guardian Nupraptor, finds her corpse. Racked with grief and tormented by suspicions of treachery, Nupraptor plunges into a madness which overflows and infects all of the Guardians who are symbiotically bound, including me. The repercussions of Ariel's assassination were expertly calculated. The entire circle descends into madness, and I am tainted at the moment of my birth, instantly rendered incapable of fulfilling the role destiny has prepared for me.
Shall I show you the same mercy you showed the rest of the circle then? You blithely murdered them to restore their pillars, yet your hand faltered when it came to the final sacrifice. What makes you exempt, Kain? You're merely the last man standing. Why condemn me for simply carrying out what you hadn't the courage to do yourself?
Let's drop the moral posturing, shall we? We both know there's no altruism in this pursuit. Your reckless indignation led you here. I counted on it. There's no shame in it, Raziel. Revenge is motivation enough. At least it's honest. Hate me, but do it honestly. 30 years hence, I am presented with a dilemma. Let's call it a two-sided coin. If the coin falls one way, I sacrifice myself and thus restore the pillars. But as the last surviving vampire in Nosgoth, this would mean the annihilation of our species. Mobius made sure of that. If the coin lands on the reverse, I refuse the sacrifice and thus doom the pillars to an eternity of collapse. Either way, the game is rigged.
We agree then that the pillars are crucial and must be restored.
Yes, Raziel. And that's why we've come full circle to this place.
So after all this, you make my case for me. To end this stalemate, you must die so that new guardians can be born.
Pillars don't belong to them, Raziel. They belong to us.
Your arrogance is boundless, Kain.
There's a third option. A monumental secret hidden in your very presence here. But it's a secret you have to discover for yourself. Unearth your destiny, Raziel. It's all laid out for you here.
You said it yourself, Kain. There are only two sides to your coin.
Apparently so. But suppose you throw a coin enough times. Suppose one day it lands on its edge.
I didn't know what impulse stayed my hand, why I had so willingly allowed Kain to escape me when I had pursued him for so long. I had no reason to trust Kain after he had valued me so little, and yet I found myself intrigued by his words. I had been too cruelly used to so gullibly play his pawn, but if this world truly had secrets to divulge, I was determined to expose them. From the moment of my arrival, I had the constant and palpable sensation of being watched. Someone, it seemed, was keenly interested in my presence here. From the look of it, this door had been sealed for centuries. I began to realize it was no mere coincidence that I found myself standing here, beneath this winged figure with blue skin and cloven hands so like my own, and bearing this unique key. And so it was with a sense of gravity and trepidation that I unsealed that ancient door and crossed the threshold. As I entered the chamber, I sensed that it had been sealed for hundreds, perhaps thousands of years. And while this room was clearly built when the pillars were erected, I knew that no human hand could have shaped this place, and that perhaps it had never been seen by human eyes. The surrounding murals depicted a winged race, their features so like my own, but beautiful, where mine were grotesque, and angelic, while mine were demonic. I tried to decipher these images. A great war, but with combatants like none I had ever seen. The pillars, raised by this winged race, who thus defeated their adversaries. The winged beings again, writhing in agony, apparently afflicted with the same bloodthirst I had so recently suffered. And throughout the chamber, inscribed everywhere, images of the Reaver itself. Was this what Kain had urged me to discover? I wondered.
Lies, Raziel. Do not be deceived.
Ah, my ancient benefactor. And I dared to hope we had parted ways forever. Your silence was refreshing, but it lasted. No doubt you have a conveniently inexpressible reason for your presence here.
Do not be insolent, Raziel. I am eternally present here and everywhere, now and always. I am the still center of the turning wheel, the hub of this world's destiny.
But perhaps not so omnipotent as you'd have me believe. Your hold on me appears to be tenuous. I no longer seem to need you. Yet I'm guessing you still need me.
This impudence is unworthy of you, Raziel. Do not forget that you have a task to fulfill here. You are indebted to me.
Indebted? You would have me show gratitude for a gift I didn't ask to be bestowed. Do you forget that you forced me to inhabit this vile carcass?
I restored you to yourself, Raziel. It was Kain who destroyed you. The very enemy you've just let slip through your grasp. Do not fail me, my servant.
I serve no one. Not you, not Kain, and not your lackey Mobius.
Mobius is my good servant. I have many.
And if I tell Mobius that he's worshipping a giant squid, do you think his faith will falter?
You have grown willful, Raziel. But beware. To embrace a serpent is to invite poison into your heart. Kain is a sinuous beast. He will seduce and deceive you. You pride yourself on your free will, yet you let that degenerate deter your resolve.
I harbor no illusions about his integrity, nor anyone else's. In fact, I am beset by manipulation on all sides. I merely seek the truth.
These are the fathomless truths, Raziel. The agony of birth and death and rebirth. This is the wheel of fate, the purifying cycle which sustains all life. Vampires are an abomination, a plague which leeches this land of its spiritual strength. They obstruct the flow of life and death. Their souls stagnate in their wretched corpses. But the wheel must turn. Death is inexorable and cannot be denied. Your destiny is irresistible, Raziel. You are my soul reaver, the scourge of the vampires, reaper of their apostate souls. Remain steadfast. End the vampire's parasitic curse, and restore Nosgoth. Kain's blood belongs on your hands.
Kain indeed deserves to die for condemning me to this repugnant form. But if and when I kill him, it will be for me alone to decide.
Kain destroyed you without a flicker of remorse. He tore the soul from your noble corpse, and after you had served him faithfully for 1,000 years, he discarded you in the abyss on a jealous whim. Remember your rage, Raziel. Let it guide your hand.
Okay, we're back. But yeah, that is the thing specific. It's like it's like when you actually try to sit down and try to think about the story. It is literally a parasite telling you that you must kill the king of parasites, while the biggest parasite has a human being that claims to be the savior of all while serving a parasite. It's like, in its own way, it's insane to me how like the story is like built, because it's literally like constructed to be like very tasteful of what reality kind of is in its own way. It's like everyone must feed in some way or the other. The biggest sponsor, which is the elder god, which is like the most parasitic thing ever. It was like literally that. We're like, what exactly? Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's like in its own right, it's such an interesting story to witness. Is it the same place where I was? I think it's different. So yeah, it's kind of exactly that, where like no matter what, it's always this kind of like fight, this constant fight for who's the parasite that you want to serve the most, essentially. I think that is like the biggest message that this game is kind of like trying to like hint to you a little bit. It's like, yeah, everyone is a parasite. Everyone is trying to take advantage of you all the time. Which parasite is the one that is like the most beneficial you to you at the moment, including yourself? It's like, yeah, well, what do you do basically? You know? Okay, where am I going actually? Where am I going? Dude, this is a maze, actually. This is legit a maze. Where am I going exactly? Okay. What am I looking for? What the fuck am I looking for? Like literally. Okay. When in doubt, going to the spirit world. And it's like, the funny thing is, like, in its own way, is like, Kain has his own morality, and it's like, it's a vampiric-driven morality. Why? Because, like, specifically, he must defend the vampire race. And it's like, it gets shown in Blood Omen 2, where Kain is literally in a vampiric, like a dystopia for vampires, essentially. Where like they have vampires imprisoned and like even being like treated like inhumanely, and it's like they even have machines attached to them. It's like they get experimented on, and it's like it's all because of the Sarafan Lord that is like trying to justify his ruling through the scope of the Sarafan Lord, basically, which is the Hilden in particular. So it's like this story itself is constructed in such a way that is like, you may argue that it's kind of like a motherfucking Voltron of like ideas, but it's like once the universe kind of clashes together, you kind of start realizing like a couple things. It's like, okay, what is the purpose of the pillars? Is there a reason why the pillars exist? If they do, is it wrong that Kain has shattered them? Is it wrong that Kain is trying to preserve them? What is wrong about Kain? What must Kain do in order for everything to go back to normal? And it's like, normal to who? To the vampires? To what exactly? Well, yeah, I mean, with Kain's case, it's like, yeah, he must preserve the vampiric rule because he's the king of the vampires, essentially. But it's like, in its own way, in its own right, it's kind of like, you may even go and argue that it's like he's going against humans. Like, humans are something that must be controlled rather than actually like let them overtake everything, basically. Like, he does not want the pillars of purity to be like held by the humans. He wants it for the vampires. It's like, in its own way, you may argue that it's like, okay, well, so is Kain the villain of the story? Is it Raziel for trying to exterminate the king of the vampires? Is it Mobius for trying to manipulate and serve a parasitical god? Who is the true villain of this story? So, yeah, and it's like, most of the time, the perspective, the most heroic perspective, gets taken from Kain and Raziel, right? As like Raziel himself, he used to be like human. He used to be a human. He then got turned into a vampire. But then after that, he ultimately became a ghoul because of a jealous tantrum of Kain. So the hero himself is put through kind of like a moral questioning of like, what am I? Who am I? Where am I going? Am I serving someone? Am I serving myself? Who exactly am I supposed to be in this world? Am I supposed to obey everything that I've been told about the Elder God? Am I supposed to obey Kain because he has his own right to be a king and defend it? Or am I supposed to go for Mobius, who is just a plain servant? Who am I supposed to go for? I was like, well, the more he discovers about the world, basically. I mean, yeah, it's like Raziel's life is kind of like an allegory of it. Where it's like, the more he discovers about the world, the more he can stand the position and actually take a choice towards something that is helpful towards him, which is truth in its own way. Like, he must look for the truth of this world. And it's like, at the moment, that's where he stands. That is where he stands. The truth of the world is the most important thing for him at the moment.
I surfaced into a very different landscape. The daylight barely penetrated the dense canopy of this forest. Here I discovered an ancient ruin, unmistakably one of Mobius's time-streaming chambers, but long ago sealed and abandoned to the encroaching swamp. I didn't currently possess the means to break this seal, but I thought in time that I might.
That is the thing, specifically. Who's the true parasite in this world? Is it you, Raziel? Is it Kain? Is it Mobius? Is it the Elder God? Everyone is a parasite. Everyone is a goddamn parasite in their own right. Sometimes, you may even go as far as to say that they're moral parasites. Okay. Okay, wait. Okay, yeah. And it's like, in Blood Omen, basically, you can even argue that the vampires were more human than the humans themselves. Because the vampires were just trying to survive. The vampires just were trying to, like, not get experimented on. That's what the vampires were trying to do. In that, like, vampire dystopia of bullshit. So, it's kind of like very, very... Like, no matter what, there's always going to be that type of perspective, basically.
So, my lurking observer was exposed. The creature vanished when he realized he was discovered. But I caught a glimpse of him, and his features were distinctive enough. This was the vampire Vorador, the the monstrous assassin depicted in the stronghold. Strange that a creature brazen enough to assault the circle single-handedly would avoid confronting me. Very well. If Vorador would not come to me,
I would come to him.
But first, I needed to find some means of reaching that terrace.
But yeah, that is the thing. It's like, and also there's Vorador as well, which you can say that he's just the inheritor of the vampiric culture. Like he was the forger of the Soul Reaver. It's like, there's also this kind of like, how do I put it? The thing is, like, the history of the vampires kind of like portray vampires as this parasitic thing. It's like, yeah, but like the most pure of vampires were different, and like we will learn that in one way or the other, but we will eventually learn that. Like, in a way, basically, the reason why I love this game is for one specific reason only, right? And it is not who is the good guy or who is the bad guy. It is who is the biggest parasite of them all that brings the world into a collapse, basically. What kind of reality, in which reality does one bring the most collapse, basically? Because every single individual on the chessboard brings collapse to them in some way or the other. Oh, what the fuck? Okay. Frog.
There appeared to be a passage here, leading northward into the mountains. The opening, however, was obstructed and too high for me to reach. Perhaps later I would find the means to bypass these obstacles.
Okay. So yeah, it's like... So yeah, in its own right, it's like, okay, so who is the most altruistic then? Who is the one that brings the most benefit? It's like, you can even argue that Kain is the one that brings the most benefit, because he's the king of the vampires. He doesn't want to, like, necessarily. I mean, to some degree, he has to deal with the humans, basically. But the thing is, the dark gift is something that I believe it can be passed on. So, in its own way,
My lurking friend was nowhere to be seen, but I found these ruins even more intriguing. I recognized these arcane symbols from the chamber beneath the pillars, and realized that this shrine too was sealed to all but the bearer of the Reaver.
okay, cool. So yeah, it is. It's kind of like mentality where we're like, so you can say that within his own right, Kain did not put the humans through like a dystopian nightmare, basically, because he kept on giving the dark gift in some way. And he preserved the life of other individuals. So, in its own way, it's like, you can argue that Kain is a good guy, because he's like, even though his enemies were like the Seraphim priests that were hunting vampires and hunting them for their curse, ironically, like, Kain gave the dark gift to corpses for them to bring themselves back to life. And it's like, it's kind of like that kind of like moral posturing, where it's like, okay, but Kain is not necessarily a good guy because he kind of ripped out your life as a vampire as well. So it's like, is he truly the greatest good guy in this story? It's like, no. It's like, in some cases you would argue that Raziel is the only one that is the good guy. So which one is it? Right? What is this? Okay. Whereas, like, is Kain the good guy? He literally destroyed Raziel out of jealousy. So who's the good guy in this situation? Who really is it? So yeah, like, that is the thing. Is like, which one is it? Is it Raziel because he's trying to figure out the truth? So yeah, it's the story goes hard, actually. Okay. Wait. What? Okay, camera angles, please work with me. Okay, cool.
Throughout this ancient shrine, murals depicted the winged race, the apocalyptic war against their mysterious and equally inhuman adversaries. These winged beings, it seemed, were not only the architects of the pillars, but of this enigmatic place as well. And just as in the pillar's chamber, this shrine was adorned throughout with imagery of the Reaver, depicted with the reverence of a holy icon. Okay, cool. Okay. This is where I'm supposed to go? Okay. Okay, so the door is open. To rotate. Okay. Okay. Dude, this game is like so confusing. Okay, cool.
So yeah, it's like what, like exactly what is this? What is this kind of like fight for morality? What exactly is morality if you're feeding like an endless parasite? What exactly is it? Who is the parasite? Who's the biggest parasite of them all? Who is turning people towards the Kain? Who is? Who is the one that is driving everything into destruction? And like, depending on the era that you're in, you may argue partially that is like, okay, it's the Elder God's fault. Or like Kain's fault. Or even Raziel's fault in some way. But it's like everyone does their part in its own way. Because it's like Raziel is driven by vengeance. Because Raziel is driven by vengeance, does that make him the hero? Is that a hero to you, basically? Oh, dude. I was like, so far he kind of is. In one shape or form, he's more of a hero than Kain is. What does this mean? I'm so lost. Hold to flag. Okay. But drag where? What am I doing? What am I doing here? What exactly am I doing here? Okay, well. Okay. It's like it feels incomplete, basically. But, yeah. This. I'm so confused about this puzzle. Okay. But yeah, in some way or the other, this game has made me realize how storytelling should be told, basically. Like, it makes me understand that storytelling should be trying to construct to be something beyond absolute good or absolute evil, basically. And it's like, if it's a game based around hunger, well, now you're talking about a story that is more complete. Rather than the quest of like good versus evil. Okay, like the more that I kind of like try to rationalize it, is like the more I kind of like hate the idea of good against evil, because it's such a narrow-minded mindset. It really is. Hey. Supposed to. Oh, fucking damn. Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's kind of weird actually. It's like, in order for you as an individual to understand the whole concept, it's kind of like you really have to play every single one of those games. You really kind of have to. It's like once you kind of play everything, you're kind of like, yeah, well, Kain is not necessarily evil. He's not necessarily a hero, but he's something. I'm not exactly sure of what, but he's something. I mean, he's a king, basically. Yeah, I'm very confused about this. This zone is like so confusing to me. Oh, wait. Oh. Is that? Wait. That reads something. This is solid. Okay. Interesting. Okay, what about this one? Okay. But what if... Shoot projectiles puzzles targets. What? How? What is this clue? I'm confused. Okay, but... Okay. Okay, does this do anything? No, it doesn't. Dude, this is so confusing. Okay, so we know that does that, but what do I do after that? Shoot the object. Shoot projectiles. Puzzle targets. Where? I am so confused. I'm legitimately clueless, actually. Okay. I am so confused. Projectiles. Dude, I'm so clueless about this. Okay, cool. I'm literally clueless, but okay. Oh crap. Okay. What am I doing, boss? Good projectiles are also targets. But which one? Which? I was about to be like, yeah, I was about to be like, yeah, this is how I do it, but nope. Like this looks like it can be open. But how? Confused. Monkey is very confused, actually. Monkey is incredibly confused. It's like, let me look at this for a little bit, actually. I'm very, very confused. What about this? What about this place? Like it kind of looks like I'm supposed to open the door. I'm supposed to do like one puzzle or something. But I'm so confused about it. I really am. Cool. Hey, cool. Okay, let me take a look at something. Dark Forge. Okay. Okay. This game is so confusing. It really is. Okay, I will say the puzzles are way more confusing in this game than in Soul Reaver. Like the first one. They are kind of more confusing. They're not so direct, actually. Yeah, cool. Okay. that. The light is supposed to come from somewhere. It's that thing. But there's not enough light. Dude, okay. Am I gonna have to ask for a hint? I feel like I am. And like, probably very soon. Oh, wait. Does this actually give me something? Oh, wait. Let's look at this. No. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Okay. Okay. I don't want clues, but I'm very, very close to actually asking for a clue. I'm very, very close to it. It's like this thing looks like it's supposed to be there. Like, yeah, I mean, it looks like it's supposed to go there. Wait. Is that light? That is light. Okay, wait. Okay, the solution to the puzzle seems to be this. But how on earth do I make it? It's like, what exactly am I looking? It's like, there's light here, but what exactly do I do? It's like, yeah, that is light. It is light. A small pocket of light. What do I do? It's like, this looks like a context clue, doesn't it? And it does. This looks like a context clue. It's like, or am I supposed to turn it in a specific way? Be like dark, dark, sun. Okay, what if? Okay, what if it's supposed to be like this? Okay, it's full sun. Boom, 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 Or what if I do it counterclockwise? Nope, that didn't do anything. Jeez. I'm so confused. I imagined. I'm so okay. Okay. Let's go to okay. This is gonna be the first clue of the only clue that I get out of this stream. Okay. So Reaver to Dark Forge puzzle. Okay. Not interested. Okay, cool. Dark Forge. Okay, cool. Okay, wait. I don't want to see a walkthrough. Okay. Okay. Never eat seaweed. Okay, so east. Okay, wait. So it is what I thought. Why is it not working? Why? Dude, I shot it! I shot at it multiple times, didn't I? I thought that I did. What? What is this bullshit? Dude, I shot at it multiple times and it didn't work. Why did it work now? Dude, that fucking sucks. I don't give a shit. That fucking sucks. It's like, oh yeah, you didn't aim properly. Is that really all there was? It's like, yeah, this kind of looked like it was kind of the thing. No, you didn't aim properly. That's the problem. Fuck you. So yeah, the other puzzle is exactly the same thing. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Cool. I got a disc. I got a disc in my bullshit. Okay, cool. Okay, how did I do this again? How did I do this? Oh, now it shows up. Now it opens up. Okay, cool. What did that do? Dude, I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I did exactly what I thought that I needed to do, and it didn't work. I did exactly what I thought would work, and it didn't fucking work. What? What is that bullshit, man? That is some straight up bullshit. And he's like, dude, it's not that I was wrong. It's just that I'm fucking bad at aiming. That's really the problem. Dude is like, yeah, I mean... Hey, wait. Oh. Oh, it's because... Did I need the Soul Reaver out? Is that the problem? That fucking sucks, dude. Come on. Alright. Now this. Okay. What is that? Okay. The moon. Okay. Okay. So we got the Dark Reaver. Finally. Okay. Jump. And cool.
As I neared the altar, I suddenly felt the Reaver quickening of its own volition. Just as in William's chapel, the balance of power tangibly shifted. Voracious and willful, the Soul Reaver was now in control, and I, merely its helpless puppet. The Reaver plunged itself into that mysterious altar, and devouring the energy that emanated from within, drained this place of its power. Thus sated, the Reaver released me.
Damn. Okay.
And I realized as I recovered control that these ancient shrines were forges, each purpose-built to enhance the Reaver with elemental power.
Yes, I have the power of darkness within me. Holy shit. Finally, I'm an edgelord. That's great. Why the fuck is the power of darkness enhanced by the power of, like, sunlight? I mean, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Kind of. A little bit, yeah, kind of.
Now I understood the purpose of the mysterious basins I had seen throughout my journey. They were elemental fonts, each attuned to a fundamental essence. When I forged the blade, every font in Nosgoth with the same elemental attunement was simultaneously quickened. The Reaver's enhancements were never permanent, but these fonts enabled me to re-imbue the blade by bathing it in the elemental energy distilled therein.
Okay. Okay, so what do I do with it? Okay, but what do I do? Is it like the fact that I still have the Dark Blade?
Concentric circles, one eclipsing the other. I recognized this symbol from the door sealing that other ancient shrine, the one I had seen in the lake outside the Sarathan stronghold. Perhaps now, armed as I was with the elemental power of darkness, I could return and gain entry.
Okay, cool. But yeah, it's like, okay, but like, what is this supposed to be? It's like, does my Soul Reaver gain the effect? Is that what is happening? I think it is, actually. Most likely. Oh, dude, like, I need to get into a safe point now. Oh, no. Shit. Okay. Well.
You're a ragged excuse for a savior.
Vorador.
I see my reputation precedes me.
It does.
All good, I hope. I've been watching you since you emerged from that accursed stronghold. Strange that your arrival coincides with the corruption of the pillars. But I'm wondering, are you the catalyst of these events? Or the answer to them?
I don't know what you mean.
I will speak plainly then. I distrust your origins, stranger. Seeing you crawl from the putrid depths of Mobius's keep makes me question your purpose here. And what should I make of your appearance? Not human, clearly, and more demon than vampire. And the pillars. It is no mere coincidence that your arrival in that clearing heralded the pillars' decay. And so I ask you plainly, are you the instrument of the pillars' destruction or their salvation?
Neither.
Very well. Let us look at the other side of the coin. I have followed your journey and watched as you blithely unlocked secrets that have been sealed and forbidden for thousands of years. The path you have been treading is open to only one being. You don't know what you are, do you?
I have been many things. If you find me ignorant, enlighten me.
What's the point? This world is beyond redemption. Let the human cattle have it.
I would expect better than meek capitulation from you.
Centuries of persecution have taught me well. 500 years ago, our race was nearly exterminated by the fanatical crusades of the Seraphan. And now the same sick drama unfolds again. In merely a decade, Mobius's cutthroat citizen army has nearly accomplished what the Seraphan could not. Vampires meddling in the affairs of men. Look where it's brought us.
What am I to make of these secrets I've uncovered, then? The depictions of the winged race, the pillars, and the Reaver.
Fairy tales, boy. The delusions of an ancient culture clinging to hope long after the world had discarded them. Their bloodline trickled away until only one of the ancients remained, sustained solely by obligation and his unfaltering faith in the old prophecies. But you see, even if you are who you appear to be, it no longer matters. You're simply too late. Janos Audron, the Reaver Guardian, the last of the ancients, and my maker, was murdered by the Seraphan nearly 5 centuries ago. He alone would have the answers you seek, but his secrets died with him. I don't know how you've come even this far without his guidance, or without the Reaver, stolen these 500 years ago by the Seraphan. I'm afraid, my friend, that you and all of us are out of luck.
I had no less reason to trust Vorador than anyone else I had met. In fact, the ancient vampire was the most forthright being I had encountered thus far. If Janos Audron was the key to all this, then I would find him, and Mobius's time-streaming device would provide me passage. But first, I had to find a way back into the stronghold, and I suspected I would find the means within the lake's mysterious shrine.
Have a chat with Vorador. Hey. Well. Okay. Okay, so far, this game is definitely better than Defiance, a little bit. Just a teeny tiny bit. Like, Defiance feels polished, but this feels different. As a game, it feels different. Okay. It feels more thematic, actually. Okay, cool. Okay, let's save the game. Okay. 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 Swamp. 2 hours. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. But dude, okay, my first impression of this is the game definitely feels better than the last one. And yeah, the story, yeah, it already feels better. So yeah, and it's like, I don't know what to tell you. It's pretty sweet so far. Like, I kind of enjoy it. It's not too much in your face about puzzles as the other one. This one is like, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to figure it out. And it's a little bit more linear than the other one. The other one was more like, okay, you're going around in a circle. figure out a way to break out of that circle. I was like, I mean, yeah, and it's like in its own way, the design has some kind of poetry attached to it, in some way or the other. But this one has a very different thematic, and it's like, yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. So yeah. Anyway, oh dude, my model broke at the middle of the road. God damn it. Cool. But yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's go over here, shall we? Dude, this game actually. This game is absolutely great with tool launcher web game. So yeah. It's so far, it's great. It's amazing. It's awesome, actually. I love it. I love every single bit of it. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if I'm gonna stream tomorrow. Most likely I will, and I'll see if I... Yeah, Sunday stream is always kind of like later, maybe. But if I don't, if I just spent it doing something else, then I might consider like doing it like at 4:30. But if not, most likely at 6:30. So, I mean at 6 p.m. CST. So, yeah, I'm just like, dude, this game's lore breaks me. It is delicious. It is the most delicious lore there can ever be for a video game. Like, okay, hear me out about this one. Most video games treat their lore building like a drama magazine. This game in particular, treats you. This game in particular treats you. Treats the viewer as someone who is trying to like make reason out of something. And it's like, in its own way, that is such a powerful storytelling tool for you to actually say, no, this is not about good and evil. This is about what drove the world into chaos and what can be done to restore it. And it's like, that is peak storytelling. That is peak storytelling. It's not the story of the hero trying to destroy the evil wizard that is trying to conquer everything. No. It's the story of parasites trying to figure each other out. And it's like, that is great. I love this game because of it. I love it. I want to make out with it. I was like, even though the main characters are there, there's even more background characters that are part of the main deal that make the game even more satisfying. Because now you kind of have the Hilden dystopia. so it's like, yeah, you got the Hilden dystopia, the beginning of the vampires, the betrayal towards Raziel, and the resolve of that betrayal. And it's like, yeah, I mean, they wrote towards the solving of that betrayal. And it's like, dude, I cannot. This franchise cannot stop winning. Even although, technically speaking, Blood Omen 2 was a piece of shit, but it did serve its purpose. It did serve its purpose. But yeah. Anyway, any other franchises telling that they have the best lore? Go eat shit. I refuse to believe it. Anyway, tomorrow I said it, and yeah, it's okay to be wrong. Okay, it's okay to be wrong. I think that if you shove any other franchise and say this is peak, you're wrong. So I'm sorry, you're wrong. As far as video game storytelling goes, sure. Okay. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.